Hi, I'm Carol with Divine Balance Counseling Services, and the topic that I'm going to talk about today is anger management. It's a very common topic. A lot of people need anger management, have no idea what anger management is. A lot of people struggle with anger. A lot of people maybe even live with people that struggle with anger. So there's a lot of different dynamics to anger management. I'm sure that I'll be doing more than one video on anger management, but today I just want to touch on the basics. So let's talk about the emotion. So the emotion of anger would be fear. So anger is a secondary emotion to fear, and we can guarantee that if we're feeling anger, there's some fear there. For an example, I'm driving down the street, someone almost hits me, I get scared, I'm in fear for my life, for my kid's life. I am going to respond in anger. Now, there's different ways of responding in anger. This is the key. We should definitely have anger. Anger is healthy, it's normal, it's a defense mechanism, it protects us. So if anybody's ever telling us not to be angry, if anybody ever tells you don't get so mad, that's just an unreasonable request. We need to get mad, we need to get angry. It's the way we respond that we need to pay attention to. So I'm going to get hit by somebody driving down the street. I get scared. How am I going to respond? So I'm going to probably swerve out of the way, and I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, what just happened? Oh, that scared me. And man, I wish people would pay attention to the way they drive. And then there's the other version, which I won't use that kind of language. and it also includes maybe chasing the person down, getting in front of the person and stopping. And this is where we get revengeful. And then we want to install fear into the other person that installed fear into us. And then it causes them to be angry. And then it just spirals out of control. And then it causes more danger than the initial incident. So the way we respond to anger is huge. Now, false pride will tell you that if somebody violates you, somebody upsets you, somebody scares you, that you need to respond in a revengeful way, that you need to respond in a way that is telling them, hey, you can't treat me like that. Hey, you can't talk to me like that. Which, don't get me wrong, we need to have boundaries. But there's ways of saying these things and ways of doing these things that makes a big difference as far as the kind of people that we want to be, and as far as setting examples for our children and others in society, and even when it comes to the law. So we definitely want to pay attention to our response in the way that other people treat us. Excuse me. We come from a society that says if you get hit, you hit back. A lot of people believe in that. Me personally, I don't believe in that because I don't want to be that kind of person. I don't want to hit anybody. I don't want to hurt anybody, regardless of what they've done. And so that's kind of the principle with anger management, is that if we want to do tit for tat and we want to hurt somebody because they hurt us, then that's just going to provoke more anger, which then causes more hurtful behaviors. And so really it goes to the bottom line is, what kind of person do you want to be? Once you decide that you want to be the type of person that doesn't want to hurt people, that you don't want to be revengeful, that you really want to be kind and caring and compassionate, forgiving, that's huge, which is a whole nother video that I'll do at some point, then it's a lot easier to manage our anger. Okay, so it takes practice. I'm a single mom. I have 4 kids. I have 2 adult kids and 2 teenagers. And when I first started out as a parent, I had a lot of anger and a lot of rage. And I know that that came from the fear of parenting. And I used to wake up and yell at my kids. First thing in the morning, I'd wake up and I'd be screaming and yelling, and the kids couldn't function. They couldn't think straight. They'd be nervous. They'd be on eggshells. It was pretty rough. But I made a decision one day that I did not want to wake up like that anymore. And I remember the day I had to be very intentional about it. And I woke up and I was screaming and yelling like I always do. And I said, wait a second. Nope, I don't want to do this anymore. And so I laid back down and I pulled the blankets over my head and I took a deep breath in through my nose. And I moved the blanket and I got up and I said, good morning, everybody. And that was the first day that I intentionally practiced not being so angry anymore. And did I ever yell again? Absolutely, a lot. Is my anger better today? Definitely. My anger is definitely more managed. I definitely can handle what some would consider a violation without being revengeful, but still able to set boundaries. Some people might wonder, what does that look like? So somebody violates me. So I can either respond with um, bleep, 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 and a threat and a name calling and all that. Or I can respond with, excuse me, but you may not talk to me that way. Um, Defense mechanisms will definitely take us to a place that we don't want to go sometimes, but the more we practice, the better it gets. So, with all that being said, I hope I wasn't rambling. When I sit down with a client and I do anger management with a client, I start with this little pamphlet here, and I call it my anger management red. And we just read from this, and it just kind of stimulates questions. It helps me identify what kind of anger my clients might be struggling with. And then I'm able to guide them a little bit better. So I'm going to refer to this a little bit and share some of this information with you, and I hope it's helpful for you. So anger is a normal, healthy emotion, but when it's constant, explosive anger spirals out of control. It can have serious consequences for you and your relationships. It can have consequences for your state of mind and even your physical health. With insight about the real reason for your anger, and with some really good anger management tools, you can learn how to keep anger management from hijacking your life. Okay. So understanding anger, the emotion of anger is neither good nor bad, right? It just is. It's important to have. We need to have it. It's perfectly healthy, and it's normal to feel angry when you've been mistreated or wronged. That's not the problem, as we discussed earlier. It's what you do with it that makes the difference. So anger becomes a problem when it harms you or it harms others, when it harms somebody else. That's when anger is a problem, okay? So we know about harming other people, but what about, how do we know if it's harming us? So a good thing would be a good way to assess if anger is affecting us. Would be when I lay down at night, do I feel guilty? Do I hate the way I'm treating people? Do I have a hard time keeping a relationship? Do I feel mad? Do I feel revengeful? Am I unable to forgive? These are things within myself that I can recognize if I'm harboring too much anger. This says here, if you have a hot temper, you may feel like it's out of your hands and that there's nothing you can do about it. But you do have more control over your anger than you think you do. You can learn to express your emotions without hurting others. And when you do, you'll feel better and you'll be more likely to get your needs met. Mastering the art of anger management, it takes work. It's a lot of work and a lot of time. I'm here to tell you. But the more you practice, the easier it'll get. The payoff can be huge. Learning to control your anger and express it appropriately can help you build better relationships. And I'm huge on relationships, although that is probably the number one thing that I struggle with, that I continue to work on with myself. But relationships are key. Relationships are important. Relationships are what it's all about. And of course, we have our romantic relationships, we have our relationships with our families. But sometimes it's the way we relate with the people on a day to day basis, the people that come in and out of our lives on a day to day basis. I know that when I cross paths with somebody, I would like to install some hope or install some peace or, just be a little bit of light in the world. Because there's so much other stuff going on and so many people are struggling, so many people are hurting, so many people are so mad and broken. And I used to be one of those people, and I just want to give back. I just want to give back. So yeah, definitely helping you build better relationships, also achieving your goals. Maybe you have some goals in life and you just can't seem to achieve them. Maybe you can't finish a school course, or maybe you can't keep a job because you just keep getting mad all the time. And employment employers don't want to deal with that kind of behavior. Schools can't allow that kind of behavior, and a lot of people don't want to be in relationships with that kind of behavior. So you can have a more satisfying life once you learn to manage your anger. So let's see. This is, why is anger management important? You might think that venting your anger is healthy, that the people around you are too sensitive, that your anger is justified, or that you need to show your fury to get respect. Okay, so a lot of people think that their anger is justified, okay? And we really have to be self-conscious about that, okay? Because that can go two ways. If somebody's almost hits me and runs me off the road, of course my anger is justified. My behavior, if I'm behaving badly, is not justified. So there's a fine line between there. I can't say, because you almost ran me off the road, I have the right to threaten you and to treat you badly. That is incorrect. I understand that goes against a lot of cultures. I understand that goes against a lot in society. But it's not tit for tat. It's not eye for an eye. That's, peace just doesn't work that way. We have to be the bigger person and let stuff go sometimes, and understand that when somebody hurts us, more than likely it doesn't even have anything to do with us. If somebody hurts us, more than likely it's because they're hurting. One of my favorite things to tell you is hurt people hurt people. Now, I know that when I was hurting, I had a rough childhood and I've been through some pretty vicious relationships. And in the times that I was hurting a lot of people. And it was mostly my children and my family and the people that were closest to me. So I learned that I have a great responsibility to not allow people to hurt me anymore. Because if I allow somebody to hurt me, then I'm giving myself permission to hurt other people. I hope that, you can really understand that hurt people, and that starts with me. So chances are if somebody's hurting me, it's because they're hurting and they need me to be compassionate and loving and understanding. And of course, there's a fine line because we have to set boundaries. And sometimes people don't respond to love and compassion. And it might take them some time, or they may never respond at all. And that's when we have to remove ourselves from certain situations, and not allow ourselves to continue to be treated badly. Otherwise, we will fall into that vicious cycle of being hurt and then in turn hurt other people. So, yeah, definitely. We have to be really careful on the way that we try to justify our anger. Um, Let me see where we at here. So, some people feel that they need to show some fury to get some respect. The bigger, the louder person. I myself, as a parent, have tried that parenting technique. If I'm louder and I yell more, they'll listen to me and they'll respect me and they'll do what I say. And that didn't work very well. Didn't get a whole lot of respect in return. You can't force anybody, even your kids, to respect you. Um, yes, we want to teach our kids to be respectful, but the only way they're going to learn it is by watching us do it. They will definitely do what we do, they will not do what we say. So, uh, let me see. So this says here, out of control anger hurts your physical health. So constantly operating at high risk levels of stress and tension is bad for your health. Okay. Chronic anger makes you makes you more susceptible to heart disease, diabetes, high cholesterol levels. It weakens your immune system. Let me see. I want to try to keep my eyes up for you here. Um, so yeah, your immune system, it can give you insomnia and also high blood pressure. So if you're having some health issues, you might want to check and see how you're responding to other people when you're feeling violated or when you're feeling in danger or you're feeling scared. And if you're yelling a lot and you're responding in anger, that might have something to do with the health issues that you're having. Also, out of control anger hurts your mental health. Chronic anger consumes huge amounts of mental health energy and clouds your thinking. It also makes it harder to concentrate. It makes it harder to see the bigger picture. And it really does make it hard just to enjoy life. It can also lead to stress, depression, and other mental health problems. So we really want to pay attention to our anger and how we're reacting in it, because it really just it bleeds into so many different areas of our life. And generally, if we can zoom into the main cause of something and work on that, then it will help other areas of our life get better. But everybody's on a different journey. Everybody's roots are different. So it's really important to find out what the source of your stuff is and talk through it with somebody, process with it, go out and look for opportunities to practice doing things differently. Think about what you're thinking. Maybe you need to change your thinking on some stuff. Maybe you need to check your belief systems. There's just so many different ways, but ongoing counsel and continuing to talk through somebody through each situation, being able to really just zoom in on, what was going on at the time, how you were feeling, and then maybe how you can do things differently the next time. That's how things start to change in our life. We definitely have to do some work, and it takes time. It definitely takes time. So out of control anger hurts your career. Constructive criticism, creative differences, and heated debates can be healthy, but lashing out only alienates colleagues and supervisors or clients and erodes their respect. So what's more, a bad reputation can follow you wherever you go, making it harder and harder to get ahead. So you definitely want to consider your reputation. What kind of reputation do you want? What do you want people to think about you? What kind of person do you want to be? Most of all, with yourself at the end of the day, first and foremost. Um, and I think that if you really don't care and it doesn't matter to you what people think about you, and you just want to go around being disrespectful and angry and mad and you don't want to do anything about it, I don't think you'd be sitting here watching this video. It's already 20 minutes in and you're still listening. So you must want some kind of a change, or you must want to do something or know somebody who needs some help here. So, out of control anger hurts your relationships with others. It causes lasting scars in the people you love most, and gets in the way of your friendships and work relationships. So, chronic intense anger makes it hard for others to trust you. It makes it hard for people to be honest, and it makes it hard for people to feel comfortable. They never know what's going to set you off. And that is so important. And especially if we're parents or we're in leadership, maybe we're in management on our job, or maybe we just have people that look up to us. Maybe we have a group of friends and, we're the one that they look up to and they count on. And they just wouldn't be able to trust you if they never know how you're going to act or react. And we want to be able to allow people to be honest with us. We want people to be able to be open and honest and know that we're not going to lash out or get revengeful or try to hurt them back. My best response that I try to practice this the most in any situations, whether it be my kids, my family, friends, or people in general out in public, is I want to respond with grace and compassion and understanding. You never know what somebody's going through. You never know how somebody is feeling. Even with our own kids and our closest people in our life, we may see them on a day-to-day basis, but we don't know what's going on inside them all the time. We don't know what maybe they've been thinking about, or an area of their life that they're trying to change, or maybe they're having epiphanies and realizations, and we're not being very supportive in their growth process. So definitely relationships are very important. And we definitely want to keep that in consideration. So I'm going to start to wrap this up a little bit and, just close with this. Just remember, hurt people, and we have a responsibility to not hurt people. Again, think about what kind of person you want to be. Think about how you want people to remember you and see you. And do you want to be approachable? And this is more of a subtle anger that people might deal with. As far as like reacting off of other people and stuff. So don't allow people to hurt you. And the way you do that is have healthy boundaries. And, you can let them know nicely with compassion and grace and love that they may not treat you like that. And then it is your responsibility to stay away from them if they continue to treat you like that. Otherwise, we can only take responsibility for our own actions and what we put ourselves in the path of. And think about what you're thinking. If you're thinking revenge and you're thinking hateful and you're thinking fear and all of that stuff, try to replace that thinking with some other stuff. So that's pretty much it for now. I am going to do more videos on anger. I would like to do a video on tips and techniques. If there's any particular subjects or any questions that you have, definitely leave them in the comments and I will try to respond. You can also look at my website at www.adivinebalance.com. That's DEVINE balance.com. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.